This video presents content from Chapter 5 of the book, Sustainable Living and World Peace, from a section entitled, An Introduction to Life Cycle Thinking. The following quote is attributed to Benjamin Franklin. Make no expense but to do good to others or yourself, i.e., waste nothing. Key terms involved in life cycle thinking are upstream, useful stage, end-of-life stage, downstream, embodied energy, downcycling, and zero waste. In order to work toward complete sustainability and not just become more green, one thing we will need to acquire is an understanding of life cycle thinking. This will enable us to consider and account for all stages of a product's life cycle, which is an essential ability we must develop in order to strive for complete sustainability. We will begin our journey of exploring and understanding life cycle thinking by considering something as simple as consuming a fast food lunch. When entering a drive-thru of any popular fast food chain, any of the meals that you can choose from will consist of ingredients that come from a wide range of origins. A sandwich on the menu likely will have meat, cheese, vegetables, breading, and spices. Consider all the ingredients just in the breading or just in the cheese and think of all the sources for the ingredients. Most people will also get a side dish like French fries and a drink. Also think about the origin of the packaging and the process of how it was manufactured. Our quick sandwich and meal are made up of a multitude of things that all had many steps in production. All the ingredients and everything that went into the meal at varying levels of completion had to be transported around to different facilities for the next step in production. Think of all the upstream products, energy, and other inputs that went into the meal. Once you are done with your meal, you are left with the packaging. What happens to the packaging downstream of your eating of the meal? How much opportunity for waste do you think there was, not just with the packaging after you ate the meal, but during the upstream production phase of all of the components of your meal? When we go to a store to purchase fruits and vegetables, we might be able to find out where they come from, but it may be more difficult to find out how these items were transported or how the workers were treated. Most other products, even products that appear to be very simple, actually have many components or ingredients that have origins that are difficult to determine. Think of something as simple as a box of cereal you get from the store. In addition to some type of grain, there will also be other ingredients such as sugar, salt, dried fruit, nuts, food coloring, preservatives, and other ingredients that all have their own origins and processing histories before making it to the cereal manufacturer's facilities. The packaging materials also need to be considered and consist of cardboard, dyes, glues, and a plastic bag. Everything that went into the final product had a production history with the opportunity for waste, toxic releases into the environment, or other possible adverse effects to the environment. All of the different ingredients and packaging materials also had to be transported to and from all the various production facilities along the supply chain. Primitive societies in the past often were much more aware of and in touch with the origins of their resources than modern societies. In a sense, we have become very detached from the earth, and we are not as cognizant of how living our lives affects the earth. For instance, we are often not very familiar with where most of the food we eat comes from. Food has not always been as available as it is today, and it often has an origin far away from us. Today we can enter a drive-thru and get a meal, or stop into a grocery store and stock up on a tremendous number of food items that may not have even been known to many of our ancestors. Not that long ago, our ancestors had to hunt, gather, or grow crops for food. They were much more in touch with earth and nature. When people hunt, they are likely to develop a different perspective and respect for the animal being hunted and a better understanding of their life cycle requirements and their habitats. Raising animals or growing food puts people more in touch with the source of their food and gives people a chance to see their food as living organisms, not just a meal on a plate. Since modern-day people are so separated from the life cycles of the products we consume, it is much more difficult for us to be aware of the effects that the things we use have on the earth and all life. Even though our products and production methods are much more sophisticated today, it is possible for people in our modern societies to be as in touch with our products' sources as people once were. This in turn will result in a mindset more understanding of environmental and economic interconnections associated with our purchases. The following examples are presented to help us grasp the concept of life cycle thinking and to help us appreciate the complexity of the life cycles of some modern day products we buy. Just to try to be inclusive of a range of products, presented are 3 different products that cover a broad range of inputs and manufacturing complexity. The products considered are a type of food, an electronic device, and a large item such as a car or a house or other building.